The most confusing player in the NFL right now has to be Bo Nix. And for that matter, the most confusing team also may be the Broncos. Denver has all but one score game this season. It hasn't mattered if they're playing a good team or a bad team. The Broncos are going to play it close. Their games just keep coming down to the wire no matter what. It comes down to the final play of the game. Both losses they have this season have come on walk-off field goals, and the Broncos just won an insane game. Maybe the game of the year, at least the fourth quarter of the year, against the Giants. It ended with a walk-off field goal after they were down 19 points to open the quarter. Honestly, I'm not fully convinced the Broncos are great. I'm also not convinced Bo Nix is great, but the numbers are there. He's played well, and the Broncos lead the AFC West. It just doesn't make any sense in my head, but that's why the Broncos are so confusing. They keep winning, even when it doesn't make sense. There have been a lot of crazy games this season, but there probably isn't one with a more insane fourth quarter than the Giants and Broncos in Week 7 at Mile High. Just take a look at this win probability chart. The Giants held a 99.8 chance to win with 7:12 remaining before the Broncos faced a 3rd and 12 down 26-28. After a wild comeback, the Broncos held a 96.7% win probability, leading 30-26 with the Giants facing a 3rd and 14. That popped all the way back up to an 89.3% chance for the Giants to win after Jackson Dart rushed for a touchdown on 1st and goal with 37 seconds remaining. The Broncos did win somehow, 33-32. So what the hell happened? The Broncos played awful for most of the game. Rookie punter Jeremy Crawshaw had a busy few quarters. The Giants led 19-0 entering the fourth quarter. Jackson Dart threw a touchdown to Daniel Bellinger, Cam Scadaboo, and Tyrone Tracy both rushed for touchdowns. NFL teams had won 1,602 consecutive games when leading by 18 points in the final 6 minutes of a game. The Broncos ended that. Denver went on to score 33 points in the fourth quarter, the most ever by a team shut out through 3 quarters. Bo Nix was also the first quarterback to throw for 2 touchdowns and rush for 2 touchdowns in a fourth quarter. The first 2 touchdowns of the quarter were ridiculous. Remember when I said this team's confusing? Nothing makes sense. This was the perfect example. Bo Nix threw a touchdown to Troy Franklin, only it wasn't even a pass to Troy Franklin. It was to Courtland Sutton, and it bounced up to Franklin, who somehow caught it. The Giants then immediately go back down and score with the same ridiculous luck. It's a 41-yard touchdown from Jackson Dart to Theo Johnson, except Dart didn't throw it to Johnson. It was a pass to Wan'Dale Robinson. Just an incredibly stupid back-to-back scores, but then the Giants were up 26-8. That wasn't until a Bo Nix rushing touchdown with 5:13 left. This game is no longer 26-8. Chances of winning very low. Then it was a disaster for the Giants. Dart threw a pick to Justin Sternod. He returned it 19 yards to the Giants' 19-yard line, and it took 4 plays before Bo found RJ Harvey for a touchdown with 3:51 remaining. The Giants then forced a 3 and out, and it only took 6 plays thanks to long passes to Marvin Mims and Evan Ingram before Bo rushed for another touchdown. Just like that, the Broncos led, only for the Giants to go down the field and for Dart to rush for a touchdown with 37 seconds left to go up 32-30, but the extra point was no good. Jude Mikatomne missed the extra point, his second missed extra point of the game. Denver only needed a field goal to win it and did just that. The Broncos went 4 plays, 56 yards before Lutz hit a 39-yard walk-off field goal. It was maybe the craziest game of the season and a good example of how this season's gone for the Broncos. It's all over the place. Late game situations have been wild. The Broncos are 5-2 in a bizarre way, and it all came after a 1-2 start. Denver started the season with what should have been a tune-up against the Titans at home. Week 1 is always weird, and it was the Cam Ward debut. It was an ugly showing for Denver, despite a 20-12 win. Bo Nix had his struggles, throwing for 176 yards and a touchdown to Courtland Sutton with a pick as well. The offense was stagnant. The Broncos were down 12-10 until a Will Lutz field goal with 4:17 to go in the third quarter. Then J.K. Dobbins scored to extend the lead in the fourth. The Broncos ended up rushing for 151 yards across R.J. Harvey, Dobbins, and Nix. A 1-0 start nonetheless, but it just wasn't inspiring. And then it really didn't help when the Broncos lost the next 2. Having to visit the Colts didn't seem like a tough matchup up when the season started, but that has been the case. The Daniel Jones breakout and the Colts dominance has been crazy and also confusing. Denver played a close game with them. They even led 28-20 in the third quarter. Indianapolis didn't score a touchdown for the rest of the game, but still won thanks to 3 Spencer Schrader field goals, including a field goal at zeros. It was supposed to be a 60-yard field goal, but after Dondre Tillman was called for leverage, it became a 45-yarder, and he drilled it to win 29-28. Bo played well. 206 yards, 3 touchdowns, an interception. Troy Franklin was his top target with 89 yards and a touchdown. Dobbins performed well again with 76 yards and a touchdown. The next week was then another close road loss, that time coming to the Chargers, 23-20. The Broncos, kind of the same situation. They were up again. It was 20-13 after a Lutz field goal with 12:21 to go, but they lost. Chargers tied it with 2:37 remaining on a 20-yard Keenan Allen touchdown from Justin Herbert. And then for the second straight week, heartbreak. Denver lost at the horn. Cameron Dicker hit a 43-yarder to win it. Bo had another pedestrian showing with 153 yards and a touchdown. That was almost all to Courtland Sutton, who had the touchdown catch and 118 yards. And then Dobbins was good again, 83 yards, 1 touchdown. To this point, there are only 2 losses for the Broncos. Both have come in games where they have led later on, and it took a game-winning field goal from the opponent. I mean, that's an impressive 5-2 record when you look at it. The Broncos have also picked up some big wins to get to 5-2 since starting 1-2. Getting back to 500 wasn't too tough. They hosted the non-Joe Burrow Bengals. This is when Jake Browning was stinking it up. That was a huge 28-3 win. Bo got to rip it a little bit. He went for 326 yards with 2 touchdowns and a pick. Sutton was the man again, 81 yards and a touchdown. Then Dobbins was able to rush for 101 yards. That was a really good showing, but of course we know how bad Cincinnati was before trading for Joe Flacco. Now, there is absolutely no question what the Broncos' biggest win of the season is. It came on the road against the Eagles. No question. The Broncos had blown games late, but it was the Eagles who blew it in week 5. Philadelphia was up 17-3 headed to the fourth quarter. Then the Broncos got moving, man. Dobbins scores to make it a 1-possession game. Evan Ingram caught a touchdown from Bo Nix with 7:36 remaining. That put Denver up 1, and then Lutz added a field goal to extend the lead, giving the Broncos a 21-17 lead and the win after the defense came up big with a stop. Beating a team like the Eagles changes the narrative around your team pretty fast. I mean, there is no doubt that's a talented roster, and to do it on the road, Bo played well against a tough defense. Threw for 242 yards and a touchdown. Courtland Sutton remained that top guy with 99 yards. Dobbins continued to perform well with 79 yards and a touchdown. After beating the Eagles, the defending champions on the road, the Broncos turned around and barely beat the Jets. The NFL has so much parity, it's incredible. It didn't help that it was a trip to London, but it was not a pretty performance at all. The only touchdown of the entire game was Bo Nix finding Nate Adkins to close the first quarter and go up 10-6. The Broncos gave the Jets the lead in the third quarter because of a safety due to holding in the end zone, but Denver did ultimately find a way to win, and a Will Lutz 27-yard field goal with 5:06 remaining was the difference for a 13-11 win. Yeah, 13-11 is such a Jets score. Bo had 174 yards and a touchdown. The Broncos had 9 sacks with 8 different guys getting credit. Justin Fields had an 8.2 QBR and 45 yards passing. That definitely helped Denver win. And then that led into the Giants game, which is just a blur. The Broncos, they're weird. Sean Payton has a knack to win games he shouldn't, or at least keep them close. He has a track record of winning, and it's showing up right now. When Bo Nix got drafted, I think it was pretty clear he wasn't the same elite talent as some of those other top guys. And I don't think he has been, but he was the Drew Brees prototype. He'd worked well for Sean Payton and in that offense. And here we are. It's worked, and it's still working. Bo has thrown for 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions, and rushed for over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. The stats don't lie. J.K. Dobbins is having a big-time season with over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. Courtland Sutton is the #1 receiver with 469 yards and 3 touchdowns. The defense is scary with Vance Joseph calling it. 5 players have at least 3 sacks. Nick Bonito leads the way with 8, third most in the league, and Jonathan Cooper has 6. There are some talented guys in Denver, and it's all working. Sean Payton is doing it again, and it's hard to argue with the success, but I can't help but feel like the wheels are going to fall off. I think Bo Nix is good. That second contract, though, I think is going to be a killer for the Broncos. I'm trying to believe I am, but I just don't yet, and I don't know how Denver keeps doing it.